We're back again with another episode of Beards, Bourbon, and Bullshit, and I happen to have a very interesting man, Dean Bowman, sitting right here next to me, and we're going to go through a bunch of stuff today. We're going to open another bottle by Pine Bluffs Distilling. This one's called Joe Pickett.
I love Joe Pickett.
I love Joe Pickett. This one is going to be released on the 19th, isn't it?
It's is it the 16th or the 19th?
Yep,
Do I need to look at my calendar?
one of the days it's going to be released.
You know what day of the week that is?
I think it's the 19th.
19th. Yep, I got that.
That
down.
might have went a
Joe
little
Pickett
full.
release on the 19th.
Might have got you a little too much there.
No, that's funny.
But
Boy, that's some sweet smelling stuff.
isn't it though? This is a straight bourbon whiskey. It is picked by CJ Box. The barrel was picked by CJ Box, and I actually helped bottle this whole barrel. So that's pretty cool and interesting. So Dean, what you offer a concealed carry class. When you get enough people interested, you offer a class.
Well, whenever I can find free time,
right.
then I put it out there that, hey, I can do a concealed carry class. I have a list of people that are interested, and so I contact all of them, and then word of mouth more than anything, advertising, and we just have a pretty good little group that just comes together, and I don't like it to get it too big.
I can understand
I like
that.
to keep them around 12 people is really good. Just because when you go out and shoot, when I do a concealed carry class, I like for people to actually shoot their handguns.
Right. Makes sense.
And get to know them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we just put together, whenever I have time, I'll just advertise it a little bit and people sign up. And
now, as far as concealed carry goes, what's your everyday carry?
I got several.
Several. That's what I like to hear. What's your main go-to?
So I got a little Kel-Tec 9mm. That's my beat-around gun.
Okay, yeah.
I just roll around in the dirt with it. It's a very reliable old gun. Nothing fancy about it.
Right.
Don't have to worry about scratching it up or anything. And
I gotcha.
I just stick it on and go do my work all day
There you
long
go.
with that one. And then my Sunday go to church is a Hellcat.
Oh, very nice.
Carry a Hellcat. You know, it's compact enough that you can conceal it well. And, and love that little gun.
I know Hellcat's a very, it's at the top of everybody's list. That and the Smith & Wesson M&Ps.
Yeah, the M&Ps are really nice.
Yes.
Especially for people that have a soft grip.
Yep.
Not a strong grip, and can do the easy.
Oh yeah, the easy. Yep.
Yep. I show a lot of easies to people. We shoot a lot of easies.
Really?
And women like them.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
You know, you're getting up into the older aged men like myself.
Yeah.
That need something simple and easy. Yeah, those Smith & Wesson Easies are nice.
Yeah, I bought my wife a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield, the new Shield Plus. Absolutely loves that pistol.
Right.
Loves it to death. It fits in her purse. She goes wherever she really wants to with it. Yeah. What is your favorite caliber for concealed carry? Is it strictly the 9mm or
no? It's that's personal preference.
Yeah.
For me, I like 9.
Right.
9 is readily available. There's a lot of ammo out there right now, and but I do a lot of concealed carry classes for women.
Oh, okay.
And I have husbands that buy them these monstrosity guns.
I've heard about that.
These aluminum framed 38 specials, and hey, you need to learn how to shoot that thing. And when they bring that to the range,
oh yeah,
that thing packs a wallop.
Oh yeah.
And it scares those women.
Yeah, I'm sure it does. Yeah.
And so I suggest that men just don't go buy your wife a gun. They need to handle that gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they need to shoot that gun before they buy it. And we'll talk about that later, I hope.
Yeah.
But, I sell a lot of 22 caliber.
Really?
Yes. There's probably more people killed in the United States by 22s than any other caliber.
Yeah. I mean, there may have been a lot of deer shot back in the day with the 22.
They're potent. You can get them in 22 long rifle, or some of them are 22 mag.
Yeah.
And then when a woman shoots that gun, she is comfortable. It
Oh, for
doesn't
sure.
scare her.
Yeah, it doesn't kick.
And
It's the 22 is not a loud big boom
no,
or nothing
and
like
there's
that.
not a lot of recoil.
Yeah.
And any gun's better than no gun.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So
Yeah, any gun is better than a poke in the eye. I can tell you that much.
Yeah. So I do push, you know, when I see women and I see the fear
Yeah.
in their eye, I suggest they go 22, and then they can build up from there.
I like that. I like that idea that you start them low,
Yep.
get them used to shooting, just get the reps through them, get the bullets shot, and go from there. Yeah. What do you think about these guys that try to carry a 45 1911 every single day? And
you know, that's entirely up to them. You know, when I talk conceal carry, you need to take that very seriously.
Oh yeah.
And you need to be able to conceal that gun.
Yep.
And how many guys can conceal a big old firearm like that?
Not very many. Not the way they should.
You know, and the bigger the gun, the heavier it is, maybe the harder it is to get it out and use it when you need it.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You got to be able to draw that gun when you need to without having a snag or a hiccup or anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I've even had guys send their wives to my conceal carry classes with big old 45 ACP 1911s.
What?
Yes. And I'm like, serious? Your purse is going to be pretty heavy with that thing in there.
Yeah.
But so that's fine. I mean, if they like that gun, by all means use it.
Yeah. So let's stay along the carry line of things. If you're walking through the woods, what's your go-to carry pistol in the woods?
So 44 mag.
Because this is pretty controversial.
Yeah. So so revolvers are reliable.
Correct. They always go boom.
They always go boom. You don't have to worry too much about them.
Right.
But you're limited then to the amount of rounds you
are.
carry.
Yep.
Now they've come out with the 10 millimeter, a lot of semi-automatic 10 millimeters, and so now you're running with a semi-auto that could create problems.
Yes.
You know, and could fail. But you know, there's oil them up.
Yeah. I mean,
just do your maintenance on them and make sure they're running good. Make sure you go practice with them. Make sure the caliber cycles the thing. You're shooting the right ammo. Sometimes you can get some bad ammo.
Oh,
it doesn't always cycle the handgun. And I don't have a 10 millimeter personally. But I'm not saying I'm not looking for one.
Right.
And
so around these neck of the woods, like even over in the Sierra Madres, we'll keep it lower half of Wyoming, okay? Because we all know that there's a invisible line there, you know, where you should carry the higher potency weapons up north.
Yep.
Because you're
the hunter and the hunted.
Exactly. Yeah, you're more than likely going to wind up in grizzly country. So down here, what do you say is an absolute must for carrying in the woods?
You know, I would say find you a 45.
A 45?
If you're wanting to go semi-auto.
Okay.
I carry 44 mag revolver with me all the time.
Oh, no matter where you go.
Or no matter where I go, I carry 44 mag.
I gotcha.
Revolver. But I would say, there's so much science anymore.
Yep.
In the ammunition.
For sure.
And how well it performs.
Yep.
That caliber, depending on what you're going to shoot, you need to really look at that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Everybody thinks that the bigger the caliber, the better you are. But man, a lot of those smaller calibers are performing just as well.
Oh, yeah. Well, you brought up 10 millimeter earlier, and I've watched several videos where a 10 mil is actually outperforming. This is in ballistic gel. Now, this is not in animal bone or anything like that. Usually in ballistics gel, the 10 mil will far beat a say it's close to a 357 Magnum, which if you calculate it out, they're really close to each other. And it just right on past that 357 Magnum. And it's like, honestly, what's weird to me is it's really close to that 44 Magnum. They're like neck and neck.
Yeah, I would say 44 mag, 10 millimeter, pretty comparable.
Yep. And it's just crazy that bullet that you can have 17 of, or if you're F and N, you can have up to 22 of them
Right.
in a 10 mil,
Yeah.
which is absolutely insane.
Yeah. So how many bullets do you want when you encounter a bear?
Right. Well, as many as you can get.
As many as you can get.
Well, here, let's take a second and try
sample this
here.
Joe Pickett stuff.
Yeah. That's
I
pretty
tell you
smooth.
what, you're not going to find much smoother whiskey than that.
No, heavens no, that is delicious. It's
If you had a part in picking that out with CJ Box, you and him did well.
Oh, yeah, I didn't have no part of this one, but that was all him. He did a great job too. What do you think about these guys that think that they got to have the 454 Conceal and the Smith & Wesson 500s to walk through the woods? What do you think about that?
They might be actually hunting with those, right?
Well, they sure can.
Yeah, I've never hunted with a handgun, but that might be fun. In some of the woods I get into when I'm hunting,
it's thick enough.
Oh
yeah,
that a handgun would be what you would want.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with that. If somebody wants to hunt with a handgun, I mean, you're just limited to range.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Is if you're hunting with a pistol, even though it's a Smith & Wesson 500, what do you have to have? Like at that point, you might as well just stick with a bow and arrow,
right?
To go hunting because you're still limited to the end of the building.
You're limited.
Like I don't even know how far you'd want it.
So, I would say within 100 yards.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Because when I practice doing archery,
yeah,
I'm practicing out to 100 yards,
as any man should. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm very confident at 60.
Oh, for sure.
And below.
Yeah, we can definitely dive into the archery scene. How many years have you been archery hunting?
Since 2016.
Okay, so not really that long ago.
Not really that long. No, I've 42 years. I have applied for a moose license within the state of Wyoming.
I heard those are a real bear to get.
They're a tough one to get.
Yeah.
And it took me 42 years to apply. So I drew in 2017.
Okay.
And so I took that really serious.
Yeah.
And I would go out and shoot 100 arrows every night.
Okay.
Archery.
Yeah.
And I got very good at, very confident. 40 yards, I was dead on every time.
Okay.
But I took that very serious.
Oh yeah, you have to, yeah.
And so I still do a lot of archery hunting, but I'm a poor hunter.
Yeah.
Yeah, sneaking up on something or having them calling them into me and whatnot. But I was within 40 yards of that moose.
Really?
And one arrow.
Nice.
One shot.
Yep.
And was the best, I guess, just the best feeling I've ever had.
So let me geek out on you a little bit here, Dean. Do you remember what your arrow setup was for that?
I had 125 grain
on the broadhead.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what broadhead was it?
Oh, I couldn't tell you that. I don't know, but a fixed blade. I don't like those blades.
Expandables, yeah.
That's just one more thing to go wrong.
That makes sense, yeah.
And so I always stick with the fixed blades.
I got you.
So what kind of practice with the same grain?
Yes.
And then I practiced a lot with 125 grain field points, and then I'd always shoot a couple with my broadheads
absolutely,
just to make sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Very nice. Have you shot any other animals, big game animals, with your bow besides the?
I never have.
Moose?
No, that's the only thing I've ever shot.
Really?
Yeah.
I got fortunate enough that I shot a bull elk at 8 yards with a bow.
Nice.
And
you have to aim at that point.
No, not really. Nope, you ain't got to aim a whole lot. He came running right on in. And he was going to run me over if I didn't shoot him.
Right.
Because I sat down on the ground real quick and he was beelined right at me.
Yeah.
And I've been so close to elk bow hunting. I love bow hunting. A lot of people think it's just hiking with your bow because a lot of times that's what it is. I've had it from me to you away, cow elk, and you could just reach out and and touch them. And I mean, it's gave me so many cool memories just archery hunting in general. Like I know a lot of people love to talk about rifle hunting elk and they're like, oh, I got it at 600 yards, and I'm like, where's the
fair chase?
Exactly. Yeah.
No, there's no better hunting than getting out in the mountains during archery season.
Yes.
It's good weather. It's just so peaceful up in there. I'm not the kind of guy that has to come home with an elk.
Oh, for sure.
I just love to be in the mountains.
Absolutely.
And I've knocked my arrow several times,
Yep.
and I've had an elk. Last year I did have an elk. We called one in and got him within 15 yards of us.
Oh, nice.
But he came in the wrong angle. We just wasn't ready.
Oh,
and,
setup was wrong.
Setup was wrong.
Yeah.
And we couldn't move, and he just ran around there for a while.
I got you.
But I didn't care.
Yeah,
I didn't care.
The memories.
I got to see an elk, and I just enjoyed that.
Yeah,
I just enjoyed that so much.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, I've never seen, like, I go up there to the Sierra Madres, and one thing that I was really amazed by was I got to see an aspen tree down in the bottom, and it was this big around.
No kidding.
And I was like, where are you ever going to be able to see an aspen tree
that big around?
This big around.
You got to get out into nature.
You have to, yeah. Yep. And what was even cooler was there was claw marks going up and down the tree, and then me and my buddy, we sat down on a fallen tree right next to it, and within 5 minutes there was a mule deer doe come walking up from here to the end of the table looking at us. She couldn't smell us because the thermals were sucking it upwind. Thank God for that, because she'd have blown us out of there real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to rifle hunting, Dean, what's your go-to rifle size for the big game here in Wyoming?
I've always been a 270 fan.
Okay.
It's what my first gun that my dad got me was a 270.
I gotcha.
And I just always been a fan of a 270. But the wife won a 300 Ultra Mag once.
Ooh.
And so you can power level that gun.
Okay.
So you can get power leveled ammo for antelope and deer. You can go to elk and moose, or you can go safari loads.
Okay.
With that rifle, and I loved that. It was my favorite rifle.
That you just loved being able to pick
you could just pick your load.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, and so I used that gun a lot.
Okay.
And shot caribou with it.
Really?
Elk, antelope. Man, I've shot everything with it.
No kidding.
Yeah, I haven't been to Africa yet to do some safari hunting.
Is that like a goal? Are you?
Used to be, but not so much anymore.
I gotcha.
If I was younger, maybe.
Yeah.
But shot a mountain lion once, and that hunt about killed me. And I thought, man, if I don't get something done here for long, I'm getting too old too fast.
Right.
For that kind of stuff. But yeah, I shot that mountain lion with a little 7mm Odd 8.
Oh, okay. I've heard a lot of people like those little guns.
I love that caliber, especially for women.
Yeah.
And kids even.
Yeah.
That's a good caliber that will shoot anything.
Yeah.
And you can shoot moose with that thing.
Oh, for sure.
And but it's a low recoil gun, firearm. Yeah.
Yeah.
And shoots well.
So if somebody came, so Dean also owns. He's working on a gun shop. I don't know how close you are.
Yeah. So I'm working on that. They're finishing up the siding on it today.
Okay.
And then we'll start working on the insides and getting it going. So I've had an FFL for years.
Yep.
Through a previous company called Always Manufacturing, and I still have that FFL through Always Manufacturing. So I'm going to continue to leave it in there.
Yeah.
But I need to move it now out of the new owner's place.
Yep.
And get it into my own place. And so I'm building this little gun store.
Yeah.
It's out in the county.
Yep.
And I'm going to call it On the Range.
I like that.
And we can do a lot of stuff on the range. So
explain into that a little bit more if you don't mind.
So I built a big vault in this little gun store, so I can store all my guns in there.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to retail some just sporting goods stuff.
Okay.
And really been getting into doing a lot of Christian stuff.
Really?
So probably selling Bibles and neckties.
Okay, I gotcha.
Anything that has to do with guns and God.
I like that. There's actually a YouTube channel, I think, that is named Guns and God.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it has to do.
I thought maybe we should do a program called WAG.
WAG?
Whiskey and God.
Oh, now you could be onto something. Yeah, we could totally set that up. Absolutely. Yeah. Heck yeah.
But
I'd be down with that.
Anyway, so anyway, on the range.
Yeah.
I have got another little classroom out there, and then my dream. This is my dream.
Okay.
Is to build I'm thinking like a 40 by 60 building off the side of that gun store.
Okay.
And then off of the end of that, I would have a 6 lane indoor pistol range.
Ooh, that would be amazing.
And so then I can do classes. I can do gun sales. We can do shooting leagues.
Yeah, absolutely.
We can do a little bit of events. I want to do a kitchen in there so we can do some.
That would be awesome.
Some events where we can
that
cook
would be
and
awesome.
Actually, I mean, what brings people to most events is food.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But you know what my goal is to have a place where especially women can come look at a gun and feel
and
it,
try it out,
and go shoot it before they buy it.
You know, I think that's the hardest thing. It doesn't matter man or woman. I think that because we've all been that person in the gun shop where we're like, can I hold it?
Yeah.
And then you're sitting there, you're holding it, and you're like, well, how does it feel when it fires? How you know
exactly.
And
right.
I think that's actually a really good idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that you're right on the money with that.
That's kind of my goal. I have a lot of men that'll buy their wives those guns, like I told you before.
Yeah, yep.
And if they could come to my store, I'm going to let you shoot that gun.
I agree with that.
Before you buy it, get comfortable. Make sure it's something you're going to be comfortable with. Make sure it's something that works for you.
You know what would be really funny is if the husband says, "Hey, you should buy this 44 mag 2-inch revolver, right, for a little snub nose for your pocket," and you're like, "Why don't you go ahead and go shoot that and see if you want her shooting it?"
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Because that's what really happens is everybody's like, "Oh, here's a little snub nose. Just stick that in your pocket or under your bra real quick," because they make holsters for all over for women.
Good grief, they do. Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, just stick this underneath your boobs and your bra and hit the town. And it's like, ugh. If only she could handle the recoil of a 2-inch 44 mag.
Yeah.
And you're right about
Even
that.
Those 38 specials, those little charter arms. They're aluminum frames, titanium frames, whatever they are.
Yep.
Got a little stainless steel barrel in there that doesn't weigh much.
Yep.
And their husbands think, well, you need that thing. Well, a 38 special, that's a wallop.
Oh, yeah.
That's a big gun. And so I'll stick somebody with those women and I'll stand back behind them so that I can catch the gun when it leaves their hands.
That makes sense, yeah.
So.
I mean, I got the privilege of going through one of Dean's concealed carry classes. And I kind of got to see what you're talking about firsthand. I mean, it's insane to sit there and think that somebody would think that a 40 would be perfect for a woman's first, even a 40.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're still snappy.
Yep.
And I mean, the 9mm compacts are snappy enough, but to up it to a 40 compact is like you're kind of pushing your luck,
Mm-hmm.
The
380s are pretty nice.
380s are pretty nice, yep. But I mean, if you get that little itty bitty Ruger, like the little LC,
like that LCPs,
yeah, those things are tiny.
They're so small that maybe a woman could hang on to them. But I would never want to use that gun for my concealed carry gun unless it's my second gun only.
Like an ankle. I was just going to say, like an ankle holster. Yeah, that would make sense.
But just have an extra gun for a backup or something like that would be good for that.
Yeah.
But some of the women, they have small hands, and boy, you really got to be careful with the firearm they have.
Yeah, let's branch off into ammunition for a minute because a lot of people think, and I have a lot of friends that think this way, that you don't need self-defense ammo.
Oh no, absolutely you do.
And why is that?
Why is that? Is because of the jacketed full metal jacket gun bullets.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you shoot at something with that, it's going to go clear through it.
Right.
It's not going to stop within it. And when we want personal protection, we want that bullet to stop inside that person.
Inside the body cavity,
to hit
absolutely.
That person and whop and do a
mushroom out like crazy.
And give them a shock.
Yeah.
And stay within that person. So you have to use hollow point, personal protection ammunition for that. Because what's beyond your target?
I believe that the FBI had a big problem with that, didn't they, Dean?
Possibly did.
Because they were the ones that wanted the 10mm. Remember back in the 70s or the 80s?
Yeah, I don't remember exactly the dates, but
they had a situation where they shot through somebody because they wanted a hotter round than the 9mm.
Yeah.
And the 40 wasn't around yet either, so they wanted a hotter round than the 9 mil. So they came up with a 10 millimeter, and then what happened was they went through that dude and killed the little kid.
Yeah, behind him.
Yeah. Yep. So then they were like, "Oh shit, we need to turn this down now," and that's why we have a 40 caliber pistol.
Yeah.
Because that's your turn. That's your weak 10 mil is what that is essentially.
Yeah. So and that doesn't only just apply to personal protection.
Correct.
With
it could be home defense as well.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything. You need to have the proper ammunition in that firearm for what you're going to be using it for.
Mm-hmm. I mean, if you're out plinking, it does.
Use that full metal jacket
for
stuff.
Sure.
Use the cheapest stuff you can find.
Absolutely.
And but use the same grain.
Yes.
Of bullets.
Yes.
When you're plinking as to what you're using for personal protection. So I do that a lot, just like we did with archery hunting.
Oh yeah.
Go do that. Go shoot that cheap stuff to practice with. Make sure you're on target, and then put some of your personal protection.
Oh, absolutely.
Rounds in your firearm and shoot them to make sure they're shooting. The same area.
So we're going to rewind a little bit, like way back in the beginning. Say somebody, it was their first time ever handling a gun, came to your concealed carry class, Dean. What would you tell them? Like, how many hours, I'm going to say a week, would you like to see them on even at your gun range shooting?
Well, if I'm making money at it all the time.
Right. Well, yeah. Well, I'm saying like.
I'm just saying that if you want to practice.
Yeah.
You need to have, you can go to the range, and if you're serious about it, 1,000 rounds isn't enough.
No, it's not. No, it goes through like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I practice practice makes perfect.
Yes.
And it's, man, you never know what scenario you're going to be in, so you got to practice in a lot of different positions and a lot of different scenarios and in different areas.
Yeah.
You cannot get enough practicing in.
No.
And so I suggest pushing inert guns also. Inert handguns.
Okay.
So you can buy inert handguns that just shoot a laser.
Okay, yeah.
And, they have trigger set. They're weighted. They're heavy. And
just so you can get the reps in? Is that what you're saying? So
you can practice around the house.
Oh, yeah. Instead of dry firing a pistol over and over and over.
And that's the cheapest.
I got you. That makes sense. Yeah.
Training you can do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's all kinds of, well, I shouldn't say all kinds, but there's a couple companies out there that offer these laser targets now. That you can practice with, and you put your phone up there, and it scores you, and it tells you where you're shooting, what you're doing wrong, but I suggest doing a lot of laser training if you can't afford the ammo. There's nothing better. You don't get the recoil on a laser gun.
Yeah.
So you need to be able to do the recoil to shoot and to follow through, and do that, and to stay on target. So you need to be on the range a lot.
Yes.
But to always be on target, laser guns will get you there. Kind of makes you part of the gun.
I got you.
The more you practice it, the more you're one-on-one.
Yeah, I see what you're saying. There's have you seen those new 3D video? Oh God, I don't remember.
I have.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, where you shoot and you're actually shooting against people that shooting back at you.
Yes, and
you're wearing something.
Yeah, and you have to, like, they have hostages and stuff, to where you have to be able to. You have to take that high adrenaline, oh shit moment shot. Like, that's what it is.
Like to take the bad guy out and not hit the good guy.
Exactly. Yeah, they got him, and they usually got a woman with a gun to their head.
Yeah.
You gotta take that forehead shot.
Yeah, but now you're wearing something that if they shoot you,
it feel
shocks you.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
you know what we should do? We should find out. We should come up with this company and have them come out here and set it up.
And we should do that.
We really should do that. That would be absolutely
so fun.
It would be so fun.
It would be humbling.
It really would, yeah.
I thought I was practicing enough for this.
Yeah, that ain't no kidding, huh? Because or you know what? It would be amazing if women, I think moms mainly, I'm going to go ahead and say moms are more trained than what they think they need to be.
Mm-hmm.
because they're like, oh, I could pull the trigger on somebody if somebody's trying to hurt my kid. But how many of them, Dean, do you actually think could?
I've never been in that scenario, and I hope I never have to be.
Right.
But I've thought about that a lot.
Yeah, that makes two of us. That's why I brought it up.
And I think if somebody is an immediate threat to my family, I think I could probably pull the trigger.
Oh, for sure. You don't want to.
Don't want to. I never want to go through that.
No. Nope.
Never want to go through that.
No, but I think it's something that women especially, because we hear about all these child predators that are scooping kids out of backyards, or like I seen a video the other day where somebody was scooping the kid out of a McDonald's seat, like,
yeah,
and trying to take off with her, and it's like right in front of the people, like the world has gone to hell in a handbasket.
Good grief, we live in a crazy world right now.
Yeah, so you have to be ready. I mean, honest to God, the way the laws are anymore, you're going to go to prison if you do pull the trigger.
Whatever you do, you're going to go in front of a court.
You're damn right you are. Yep.
But would you rather be in front of a court than be buried by?
Sir, I'd rather be carried or held by 12 than carried by 6.
Yep.
Honest to God, I would pull that trigger in a heartbeat.
Yep.
That would not even. And I used to go to a church out west of town, and there was a couple guys in there that would carry, and I finally went up to the pastor and I said, hey, do you mind if I carry? He goes, I kind of hoped you'd ask me, he said, because half of these people in here I don't think would ever pull the trigger if something happened.
Right.
And I was like, well, don't worry about that. If somebody comes in here wanting to do something.
We got to thank Governor Meade for that.
Yep.
For letting us have carry now in a place of worship.
He went through the whole thing, Dean. What is that called where they stand up on the
podium?
The podium.
The podium.
He made his out of half-inch steel.
Oh, nice.
And then covered it in wood.
Yeah.
And it was about this wide.
So he could hide behind it.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
Because he used to work for C.H. Yarber back in the day. Mm-hmm. And he was a good fabricator, good welder himself, and he welded everything up. And
I don't know why houses of worship are a place, a target for a lot of crazy people. When people are in trouble, they come to the church thinking they can get money.
Yeah.
And if you're not very friendly about it, then they think they got to get abusive.
Yep.
So you got to be ready. You got to be prepared for that kind of stuff.
And that's everyday life. Like, when we moved out here, we had a security system back in Cheyenne, the cameras and all that stuff, so it all came with us. And the wife was like, do we really need cameras in Pine Bluffs? And I said, I don't think we need it, but it might not be for our protection, but for proving something else.
Yeah, you can prove stuff with it, and it's a good deterrent too, because
Correct.
If a criminal comes and sees a camera,
yep,
most of the time they turn away.
Exactly.
So
yep.
I think there's a need for cameras.
So what do you think is the best self-defense for somebody that can't purchase a pistol, say under the age of 18? Or 20? Is it 21 or 18 now to buy a pistol?
No, you got to be 21 to buy a handgun.
So if you're under the age of 18, then if you're still a minor, what is your...
Isn't that so unfair?
It really is.
We send our kids out of the house, into the world, and they cannot take protection with them.
Mine does. Mine's got a nice Cricket auto-opening blade on her hip.
Yeah. You can send protection with them, but you cannot send a handgun.
Well, for sure, yeah.
So I sent my daughter with a taser.
Oh, there you go.
So you can carry tasers in college, in the college classes and stuff. Their tasers are not limited.
Yep. I like that.
So that's what she carried with her all the time. You can get some really good ones.
Really?
And the thing about a taser, too, is, your range is 15 to 20 feet.
Yeah.
So you need to let the perpetrator get close enough to you. The farther you can get those needles apart, the better off you are when they... there's two needles that go out. So the closer someone is when you taser them, if it's really close, it's not going to do as much harm to them as if it's farther apart.
I got you.
So when it's farther apart, then it sends more electricity through your body.
That.
Yeah. And there's some tasers that you can shoot them, and the wire stays attached to your gun.
And you can keep pulling the trigger.
You can keep pulling that trigger and
keep
until the battery runs out.
Oh, gotcha.
Then you throw that thing down and run, or you do that right off the bat.
Yeah.
But a lot of the taser companies, when you shoot them, there's one taser company that when you shoot, it gives them the full charge.
Yeah.
And it's dead. It's done.
Oh, got you.
Throw it down, and run and get out of there.
Yep.
And they will, when you give them a police report, they will send you the new taser.
I gotcha.
So
I gotcha. Yeah, that's one thing I told Mackenzie when she started carrying her pocket knife. I said, if anybody comes up behind you and grabs you like they're going to take you, stick it in their leg and just start twisting back and forth.
Yeah,
That's all you can do.
Pain.
Yep.
Get some pain to them.
Yep. I said you got to be
Most
able
men
to.
think they're tough.
Oh yeah, they do until there's a
knife in your
4-inch blade sticking out of their leg.
They turn pretty wimpy pretty quick.
They do. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's insane that we have to send our kids to school like that. You know, like, hey, make sure you or not even to school, to go to the mall, go anywhere.
Yeah. Hey, they got rid of that, didn't they? The hey, no guns allowed.
I think I heard about that. Yeah.
I think unless somebody really doesn't want you in your business, they can probably keep you out of there. But then don't support them.
Exactly. Yep. That's the whole reason why I don't
gun-free zones.
I don't go to Buffalo Wild Wings no more.
Oh, really?
Because 2 years ago they had a damn sign on there that says no guns allowed, and it was like, what?
Yeah.
Really? Like, okay, I guess you don't get my business no more, Hillary Clinton. Goodbye.
If they had a place where they had metal detectors and everybody that walked through there,
for sure,
was cleaned,
absolutely,
then that place may be safe. Maybe
I don't
not
know.
100%.
I was just gonna say I don't know if I'd still call that safe.
Yeah, but if they're, I don't know. It's a pretty tough deal. I think we need to be allowed to protect ourselves at all times.
Absolutely, yeah.
Anywhere we go.
Yeah. So on that protection ring, what do you like for a home defense weapon? Are you the 5.56 guy in the corner, or are you the pump shotgun guy right next to the bed?
That's the best doorbell you could have, is a pump shotgun.
That it is.
They can hear that. They know what it is.
Yep.
But I'm still a handgun guy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Even for home defense.
Even for home defense, yeah.
I gotcha.
Because I can run around and jump over the couch and I can still, come up with flashlight.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And but shotgun probably would be the best
for
home defense, just because you wouldn't have to be so exact and accurate. But yeah.
I think the guys that have the 5.56 or the 2.23 are looking for that party.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're looking for, you want to break into my house? We're gonna go. This is the way it's gonna work, and then I'm just gonna send lead at you, and we're gonna see what happens.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, you can get some 18-round handguns right now.
Oh, yeah. Well, like I just talked about, you can, if you go to F&N, the pistol maker, you can honestly get, I think the 1.9 mil is up to like 24 rounds or something like that.
Yeah, could be. Yeah.
And that 10 mil is 22. If you got 22 rounds of 10 mil coming at you, you better figure something out,
right,
dude.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, it's absolutely insane.
But I do have it still at home defense type. If you're talking home defense, I've got shotguns laying up against, kind of in, not right out in the open, but close. I know where they're at.
Yep.
Next to the doors.
Absolutely.
And but most of the time, how do you, when somebody comes to the door, if it's if it's a good guy, you don't want to be.
No, you almost so
it's a lot easier to hide the handgun, have it ready when you open the door to meet him.
You almost got to be carrying full time.
Yeah. Oh, I do.
Honestly, I mean, there is no relax when it comes to being ready to defend yourself or somebody else.
You need to be alert and aware 100% of the time.
Yeah, you really do have to be. I mean,
I've had people come to my house. I've had 3 occasions at my house.
Really?
Where I've had guns came into play.
Really?
And I'm out in the country.
Yeah, you are. Yeah.
So you can't say it doesn't happen.
Because it did.
It did.
3 times.
3 times it's happened to me.
Yeah, that's.
I've never had to
pull the trigger.
I did.
Oh.
But just because.
I got you. It wasn't at somebody. It was more along the lines.
It was more of a chasing them off and to let them know that they shouldn't turn back.
Yep, I understand
it was just
that.
firing shots in the air. And but yeah, I've had some pretty scary encounters actually.
Sounds
Out
horrible.
there.
I hope I never have to. I really hope I never have to.
But you just have to be prepared all the time.
You do.
You do.
You sure do. I mean, as far as like, I keep a pistol in my kitchen. I may or may not have one other places, but there's one within my reach. Nobody else can reach it because it's on the top of the cupboard.
Yeah.
But it's right there at all times.
And that's another thing too. Have you been to my house?
I have.
And you've seen down my hallway?
Yep.
And I've got 200 Daisy BB guns.
Yeah.
Down my hallway.
Yeah.
Which are still guns.
Yeah. Well,
which are still interesting to my grandchildren.
Correct. Yes.
But I train them right off the bat.
Every time. Have to.
Do not touch those guns.
Yeah.
If you want to touch a gun, you come get Papa.
Yeah.
And we're going to go shoot monsters.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And my kids are so good about that, of leaving guns alone.
Yep. I do. I have a gun case at home. I do not have a safe. And I have never, ever come in the house to find any one of my girls holding a gun, holding even a bullet, right? Because I've told them, these are not toys. These will hurt you. We only touch these if I am with you, and this is what we're doing.
Yep.
Other than that, don't even touch them.
Yep.
And I think that you have to be able to teach kids what the real danger is with guns if you don't want a mishap.
My granddaughter came to me one day and she says, I don't like guns. My teacher's telling me they're bad.
Uh-oh.
And I'm like, well, we need to sit down. But my little 5-year-old granddaughter, she got a biggest butt chewing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm like, let's talk about this, girl.
Yeah. And that's the way teachers are anymore, man.
Anymore. There's anti-gun teachers, and we still have a lot of good teachers.
We do.
But there's those ones that try to force it into people, their ideology.
Yep.
That's so wrong.
Yes.
I've laid a gun out there. I had my grandkids around there. I laid a gun out there on the table, and I said, "You holler at it, tell it to do something."
Yeah.
Guns do not hurt people.
Nope. No, guns will not just up and do something if.
I've yelled and yelled at it to shoot something. And I've yet to
just never does it, does it?
Never does it.
Yeah, the main problem with today's society is you got too many of these kids. I say kids, 16, 17 up, that have something going on. If you ask me, I think it's the devil, but that's just me.
Yeah.
And it's not what their mom or their dad did. Like they could have been the greatest people in the world, It's something to do with the way that these kids are just thinking about things, and it's
well, a lot of that has to do, I think, stems back to the movies they watch and the games they play, and
for sure.
It's like, why do we keep introducing that stuff?
Yeah, and see, like I grew up. So you and me are pretty big age difference, right?
How old are you?
I'm 39. I'll be 39 this month.
So I'll be 64.
Yeah, so there's a couple different generations in between us. But we are more aligned than most other people that I really talk to.
Because we have common sense.
Well, that could be a big thing. However, like I grew up playing the same kind of games, the Doom and all this other stuff where it was all machine gun. But I mean, it was also like, so back in the day when you used to watch Looney Tunes on a Saturday morning or a Friday morning, you knew that was a cartoon.
Mm-hmm.
That was not real life.
Elmer Fudd going out and shooting a rabbit.
Exactly. Yeah. That was a cartoon.
It was just fun stuff.
Yes. And I think that what a lot of people get now, they think that it's all real life. Like, I really didn't want to bring up steroids again, but the steroid use in today's fitness world, like you get all these influencers, right? These Instagram guys that are and girls that are posting all these pictures, and they all got 6-packs and they're all ripped out, muscles everywhere. And then they're telling kids nowadays that they're natural. They're all natural. They just eat clean. They do this. So then when a kid starts eating natural, say, I've heard of kids, Dean, up to 14 years old injecting steroids, or down to, I should say,
Wow.
because they're trying to get that image, right? They're
Mm-hmm.
trying to get the, oh, I want to look this certain way, and so body imaging is already coming into play at 14 years old.
Yeah, and that's crazy.
And they're convincing their parents to buy these steroids, or they're just taking mommy's credit card and buying them, and then buying the syringes and all the BS that goes with it. And at the bottom of the day, dude, you got kids that are 14, 15, 16 years old that are not knowing what they're doing when they're injecting it, and they're hitting the main artery in their leg, and they're overdosing, they're dying.
Sure.
Because they don't know any better what they're doing. Well, you get the same kind of concept of kids that think they know what they're doing with a gun, right? Like this, it's all the same thing. It just depends on the world that you're in. You get the same kid that's like, I've handled a gun thousands of times, and then, oh shit, it's an accident. I just shot my best friend Billy. Once again, should have probably never got the idea to pull it out, but most kids that think that they know what they're doing. That's the main problem, is they think they know.
Right.
And then you turn out to not knowing. But if we can educate our children about guns.
That's the whole issue. That's the whole issue with everybody.
Yes.
It's education.
Yep.
I have so many people. So I have men that come to my conceal carry classes that are afraid of guns.
Really?
And that's okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's okay, because it's and the reason is, and women,
yeah,
come that are afraid of guns.
Mm-hmm.
It's because they haven't been educated in it.
Right.
I've had women. I've had this one woman. She came in. She was staunch Democrat. Didn't like guns, but she was married to a conservative that had a lot of guns, and she says, "I'm around guns a lot, and I just want to know more about them, but I'm not going to shoot today. I just want to learn about them."
Yeah.
I said, "That's perfect.
Yeah.
Let's learn about guns. That's why we're here. That's what we want to do."
Yeah.
And so we finished our class, and after class, we go to the range. Well, I intentionally brought in a air gun target system. And I said, "Hey, let's just go over here and shoot some air guns."
Yeah.
These are nothing but air guns.
Yeah.
And they were rifles. So we shot some air rifles. She had fun. And I said, "How about shooting a 22? They're not going to kick. They're not going to hurt. They're going to be a little louder. We're going to put earplugs on. We're going to do this right."
Yeah.
And she shot 22 caliber handguns then. And she thoroughly enjoyed it.
Isn't that crazy?
To the point that she changed from a Democrat to a conservative.
Oh,
now
right then.
She's buying guns for her husband and herself.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Wow. Well, I'd say that's all due to you, sir.
I don't know if it was me or not.
It was 100% you actually having the patience and taking time to show somebody something.
But that reminds me that it just proves that the anti-gunners just need educated.
Oh yeah.
We're not out there. We don't have guns because we want to shoot somebody all the time.
Nope.
We have guns because they're a tool.
Yes.
We enjoy them. We shoot targets. There's so much you can do in competitive action stuff with them. And personal defense
it's very high on the list right now. Like personal defense.
And you hope that you never have to shoot anybody.
Yep.
With a gun.
Correct.
So
talk them down every single time. If that don't work, then your only option is to do the deed.
Yep.
So along the do the deed, do you have what is that company name? Like the insurance.
Oh, a really good company, USCCA.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
United States Conceal Carry Association.
Yep. Are you
just renewed my membership?
Did you really?
Yep.
Good.
Yeah, the thing about USCCA is, I think, and nothing against NRA too. NRA is good. Most people don't like the NRA because, they've done some bad things.
Yeah.
But they're fighting for us.
Yeah.
The NRA is fighting for not only National Rifle Association, but they're also fighting for handguns and everything else,
Right.
And they're fighting for us at the Washington, D.C. and legislature, and I'm a life member to the NRA. I would rather they fight for me
for
than
sure.
me having to go there to fight.
Yeah,
for
they
myself.
they got the money for the lawyers and everything
Yeah.
else.
You know, they might send you a bunch of crap in the mail
Yep.
and throw it away.
Yeah, if you don't want it, yeah.
They might call you a lot,
Yeah.
you know, for fundraising. They need fundraising.
Oh, for
They
sure.
need to have funds to keep operating.
Yep.
But buy a membership, $35 a year
Yeah.
to the NRA, and they fight for us.
Yeah.
They fight for our gun rights. And the USCCA is United States Conceal Carry Association.
Correct.
That's a really good company. He really struggled to get that thing off the
Right.
ground, and he kept fighting and fighting for it because he knew it was a good thing.
Yeah.
And it's probably our best as far as
I would have to
concealed
say
carry
so.
insurance.
Yep.
They have lawyers waiting.
Oh, yeah.
You know, if you shoot somebody in self-defense, you're going to go to court.
Oh, 100%.
And the first phone call you should make should be to the USCCA
Correct.
to tell them what's happening, and
Yep.
they'll send somebody to help you out.
I've heard several of testimonies about that, actually, that people had to pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And they were like, if it wasn't for that company, you know, they would have been in prison.
You know, they may be a little pricier than most.
Yeah.
But good grief, how do you know
Exactly.
if you're ever going to need it or not?
Yeah.
And,
yeah, it's crazy because you don't know. I mean, it's just like people that don't have car insurance, right? Like, because there's lots of people that don't have car insurance.
Right.
How do you know when that day comes? You don't.
You don't know.
I mean, how do you know when God's going to call you up? You don't know that shit either.
You don't know. The only one knows that's God.
That's it. Yep. He's already wrote our story, and he's just watching it all unfold. Yep. Man, that's just the way it goes too.
But I hate insurance.
Yeah.
But I think it's something we definitely need to have.
Oh, for sure. Especially that.
They so I just got a new email. They've been emailing me on my email. I don't ever check that much because I sold my business. Said, hey, your membership's expiring. And I'm like, finally figured that out. And I said, hey, can you change the email to get to my new email?
Yeah.
But I didn't want to write that check.
Yeah.
Or give them my credit card or whatever.
Right.
Because it's expensive. But I'm like, you know, that's cheap.
Yeah.
If something
in the long run,
something happens, best to have it.
So you just brought up a good thing. You sold your business.
Mm-hmm.
You want to tell everybody what you sold?
Well, I had Always Manufacturing.
Okay.
Excuse me. So metal fab shop.
Yeah.
And sold that.
Yeah.
To a guy that's actually going to manufacture ammunition.
Right here in Pine Bluffs. Mm-hmm. All right. Hell yeah, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, so he's only going to do like 4 calibers right now. Always mags.
Okay.
So ALLWAYZ.
Okay.
That was my name, Always Manufacturing. I did everything from A to Z. And my dad gave me that name.
Okay.
But so he kept that Always. Didn't keep the manufacturing, but he added mags.
Okay.
To it. So I don't know if that means he's going to manufacture magazines or something later or not.
Okay.
But he's starting to manufacture some ammunition. Only 4 calibers right now.
Okay.
So 9mm.
Perfect.
380.
Okay.
And then 300 blackout, which is kind of an
it's
interesting
a unique
caliber.
Little round.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then 5.56.
Okay. I got you.
So if your 223s or your 5.56, you'll have that there.
Yep.
Too. But going to start manufacturing that here. He's trying to get a building fixed up there where he can start moving equipment into it. He's got a lot of equipment there already.
Yeah.
But he's going to make shells and the projectiles and do the reloading, the loading and everything there. So, and then I think eventually he would like to get into making primers even.
Really?
So he's
nice. He's going to be a do-it-all kind of guy.
He's going to be a do-it-all kind of guy. And
right here in a little
Mags
town.
and Company. I think you can go to magsandcompany.com.
Okay.
That's his website right now.
Perfect.
And see what he's got to offer. But I tell you what, he's just a good guy.
Yeah. Sounds like it.
This was a God thing that he came into my life.
Really? Well, let's hear a little bit more about God. Lay it all on the line, brother.
Lay it on the line?
Lay it on the line.
Prayed really hard for this guy to just prayed hard for somebody that would come in and take over our business.
Okay.
And I don't know that he's very godly, but God told him to come buy my business.
I like it.
It was such a good transition.
Yeah.
You know, businesses don't sell.
No.
And he came in and bought my business. and kept everything going just kind of pretty much as it is.
Okay.
Everything that I've done, he's kept going, and then he's going to add to it and make it grow.
That's awesome. Absolutely
And,
amazing.
yeah, so good relationship with him.
Sounds like
right
it.
now.
Yeah.
And I think he wants to use my range.
Really?
He needs to.
Well, he's gonna
Right?
have to. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think there'll be some. I mean, I'm gonna talk to him a lot about when I'm developing the shooting range out there.
Yeah.
I want to get it eventually opened up to the public.
Correct. I do
So I
know
can
that that's
sell.
been a goal for.
Yep. I want to be able to sell memberships to it and kind of help fund it a little bit.
Yep.
Not that I need to make money at it,
Nope.
but I just want to try to break even at it.
Yes.
And I think it's going to be a good little.
Well, I think I've
Little
recruited
endeavor,
a few
but,
other helpers too. So
What's that?
I've recruited a few other helpers
Nice.
for you too. So
Yeah. So we just need to get it safe. You know,
Yeah.
it's just not set up yet.
right.
I didn't have a lot of time before. Starting to find more time now.
Yep.
Starting to get the gun store built and the classroom.
Yep.
And I just hope that can continue.
Yeah.
And it would be a finished product at some point.
Yeah. I like that.
And once that happens, then we can get moved out onto the range. I want to do a 400-yard range
Yep.
for rifle. I've got 2 traps in there right now.
Mhm.
Got 1 trap at 16 yard only, and then another trap house with all the sidewalks built out to 27 yards.
Okay.
That's I don't have a thrower in there yet,
Okay.
but we've got one ordered through the Midway USA.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Through the National Shooting Sports Foundation.
Yep.
I got a school program going there with Brian Anderson being the coach
Yep.
for that. And he's applied for a grant, and they're putting money into the range
Oh, very good.
and trying to get it built up. So I want to have a nice range. I
Yeah.
want to have a range where people can come have fun.
Yeah. I like that. I like that.
Maybe we can get some trap legs going and some pistol legs
Yeah.
and maybe even some rifle.
Yep.
But right now my rifle range, I'm hoping to be 400 yards. Well, I know I'm going to be 400 yards.
Yeah.
And then if we shut down the trap ranges, we could actually do some long distance
You
stuff
and me have talked about this
by
before.
shooting through those.
Yeah.
We'd have to just shut them down. We don't want anybody there.
Correct.
But we could do a long range day or something.
That would be
some
really fun. I
competition.
think. Yeah.
I think there's a lot of fun that could be had. And
Mhm.
in
And
doing that. But
I know more than one person that's been SWAT and Army Ranger and all the things that would be more than glad to come up and teach something too.
yeah.
So
But I would love to have like a Saturday morning 10 o'clock coffee and Bible, and then we go to the range.
there you go.
Do a Discovery Bible group.
Yeah.
I think I think this world's changing.
For the worst, yeah.
Yeah, but I think men, especially, see the need
Oh yeah.
to to maybe become more Christian.
Oh yeah. 100%.
I think they see there's problems in the world, and it's going to take men to fix it.
Oh, 100%.
Family's not going to go to church unless the man goes.
Correct.
So I want to get more men involved in. If the shooting range brings them to me,
Oh, absolutely.
I want to express my interest in the Bible.
Yeah.
In the God. Get into the Word.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we can have some fun. You don't have to be. I don't know.
Yeah,
I was just reading today in the Bible where it talked about drinking wine because it makes the soul happy.
And here we are. What are we doing?
We got, if they had whiskey back in the Bible,
They'd have been drinking that.
Whiskey?
They'd have been drinking that too. Yes, sir. And it's not to drink to excess. I do know that much.
Absolutely, don't get drunk.
Exactly.
Enjoy it.
Yes.
God wants you to enjoy life while here on earth.
Correct. Yep.
And whiskey, alcohol, stuff like that. Wine in the Bible. I mean, people did get drunk in the Bible.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But
yeah.
So don't tell me the wine was watered down.
Yeah.
Wine was wine.
Wine was wine
in the Bible. And a little bit too much would
oh, for sure,
take you overboard.
Well, what was it? King Solomon, right? Am I right about that?
Yeah, what do you got?
Or
Noah was drunk. Noah was a drunkard.
really?
Noah got drunk.
Oh, well, there you go.
And who was I can't remember the name of the guy that only had 2 daughters.
Oh, you're right. I remember that.
And
I
the
do
daughters were
remember
like,
that.
and the daughters were like, he has nobody to carry his name on, so let's get him drunk. Let's go to bed
And
with
then
him.
they laid with him.
We can get
Yep.
pregnant.
Yep. I do recall that.
So there was a lot of alcohol happening there.
There really was. Yeah.
And and that's what it says. And nowhere in the Bible can I find where it says do not drink alcohol.
Oh, for sure.
What did Paul tell Timothy that you might want to get into some wine because you're sick?
Yeah.
And maybe you need to take and drink that wine maybe that would be cleanse your body.
Yep. Yep. Hey, I've always heard whiskey will cure what ails you.
Yeah.
Just saying.
But well, I'm not going to have whiskey on the gun range.
Well, that's probably a good thing. I've seen that go sideways a time or two.
Yeah, that doesn't mix.
No.
But I don't have a problem with Bible and guns. You know what? Well, think about Jesus when he was back in the Bible days, and he told the guys to, when they was building the wall.
Mm.
And he said, sell your cloak and buy a sword.
Yep, he sure did.
And how many of those guys had a sword in one hand and they were building the wall with the other?
Yep.
They were protecting themselves.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
But if they had guns back in that day, what do you think Jesus would have said?
Yeah.
Maybe sell your cloak and buy a gun.
Yep. Yeah, like a lot of people don't understand that a gun is essentially your sword.
Right.
That's what it is.
Protection.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when God says turn the other cheek, he doesn't mean to completely look away if somebody walks up and does dumb things. It means give him the opportunity first to walk away. That would be turning the cheek. If he chooses not to, take the fence onto yourself and do what you need to.
Yeah. I would just love to get a little Discovery Bible group going. I think there's guys out there that are ripe.
Oh, for sure.
And they're wanting to.
Yep.
They're wanting to learn.
Absolutely.
And if I can get them into an environment where they're comfortable.
Yeah.
I'm not a good teacher. I don't want to be a teacher.
You are too a good teacher. I've been through your concealed class.
I want to lay the Bible out there. I want people to read the Bible, and let's just talk about it. And let the Bible be the teacher.
Yeah.
And then let's have fun.
Well, that's kind of what we did here today. We don't have a Bible or nothing, but
we don't.
Well, what we're doing today though is we just are laying out. We're having fun. There's really that's why I like my own podcast, is because there's nothing that we have to talk about. We don't have to get down to a certain thing and then be like, hey, no, we didn't make it. Sorry.
Get off topic.
Exactly. Man. Yeah, you can go down rabbit holes. You can do whatever. It doesn't. Yeah. But I get what you're saying though, is like just to have fun. Just this is literally just two guys sitting around bullshitting about pretty much everything.
Right.
That's why I loved this scenario.
Right. Yeah. This has been a fun time.
Yeah. Right. Like we
can express our opinions and.
Yeah. This is what it's all about, is just sitting here and talking.
Yeah.
I mean, you got all these other podcasters that will have like a whole scripted dumbness to talk about, and it's like no,
just whatever pops into your mind. Let's talk about
it. I wanted to make this as real.
And all of my suggestions and all of my comments and stuff might not be right, but
I don't think they're far off.
I'm okay with somebody telling me how to fix things and make them better.
Oh yeah. That's why I really like this, is because like I don't want anything scripted. Like you asked me when Chad first brought it up, he's like, can you send me questions? No, I can't.
I need to prepare myself. What are you going to talk about?
Because this isn't the way this goes. Like, no. I just want it two guys sitting down, shooting the shit about whatever comes up, man. Yeah. And that's why I really enjoy people that I can talk with. Like, I feel like you and me could sit here and talk for hours on end.
I think we could. I have a gift for gab.
So if like it, and it's all very interesting things that need to be talked about. I mean, you're right. The Bible needs to be talked more about than what it is. 100%.
We're all going to die.
Oh, eventually.
Where are we going when we die?
Yeah.
That needs to be probably a part of our life.
Yeah.
We need to think about that. I have prayer partners I send prayers to every morning.
Right.
And read. We've got a thing through our church, Crossroads Community Church, where we're doing a Bible reading program.
Okay.
And so there's roughly 3 to 4 chapters you read every morning if you can.
I gotcha.
And and you pray, before you read the Bible, and
Yep.
you ask God to make something jump out at you to make your life better for that day.
Mm-hmm.
And then you try to journal it, write it down in your journal. That kind of helps you remember it.
Yeah.
And I do that every morning.
I could go real deep right now. I've asked God to show me a sign before.
Mm-hmm.
Flat out, been at my worst of days. Hit me with what you got. I mean, cussing, swearing at him, and I can't. I'm going to say it was a miracle. With my youngest daughter Quinn, Brittany started having a lot of blood loss, and it looked like another miscarriage because we've had one in the past.
Okay.
And of course, I'm out in the garage screaming and yelling and carrying it at God.
Mm-hmm.
How dare you do this?
Why wouldn't
again?
you?
Yeah, exactly. And then she lost so much blood, we had to take her into the emergency room. And they're like, "Oh no, there's still a baby in there." And I'm like, what? Why? Why would you? This is really how you're going to send me a message? You're going to do this, And that wasn't the only time, man. The very first miracle that I've ever seen was when my wife ran herself over 33 weeks pregnant with my second child with Cadence. And she broke her pelvis and her sacrum with the tire. The tire ran up like this onto the quarter of her belly like that. So we thought the baby was dead. But somehow miraculously it just slid over in her stomach. And she at 35 weeks, Brittany still had a broken pelvis. Like literally it was snapped. Like there's nothing inside there, and there's just a gap sitting in there, in the pelvic bone. And the baby Cadence was like, "I'm out. You tried to kill me once. Like I'm not hanging out no more." And she took off. Her grandpa took her to the ER because I was working construction, and um 35 weeks, so 5 weeks early, and her lungs were not fully developed yet. So I'm at the hospital, of course, through the C-section because they couldn't let it come out normally, because her pelvis was broke, so those bones aren't gonna stretch like they normally do. They were afraid that if it went out, it would not come back in. So C-section came. That's the weirdest thing I've ever seen right there. Is a
I've
C-section.
never seen one of those. Don't know that I want to.
Golly, I got to see like liver and things all coming out, and I'm like, what? That's got to go back in. You can't.
Right.
And they're moving intestines. I watched them move her intestines and set them on the table. Set them on the table, sir. Like, just sat there. I'm like, oh, that's not supposed to go there. And then out came Cadence, and she didn't have any butt cheeks. The butt cheeks weren't developed yet.
Wow.
Her lungs were not working at all. They were not, because at 35 weeks, your lungs aren't even elastic yet.
Right.
So they couldn't get her to start. They were giving her shots in her lungs, so needles all the way through to the lungs to get them to open up, like start to become more elastic. I don't know the actual term, but somebody will. They said at 3 a.m, "Hey, we're going to run her down to Children's Hospital down in Denver." I was like, well, I guess it's that time. We better. Me, my mom, and my oldest daughter, Mackenzie, shot down to Children's Hospital, and I beat the helicopter there. Probably not my best moment, but I was doing well over 100 all the way there.
Yeah, I can imagine.
And we get there, and then they get her there. I didn't hold Cadence for almost 2 weeks. I couldn't touch her because she was in the incubator,
Yeah, absolutely.
And as soon as we got there, they blew a hole in her lung. So then they had to stent it, out the armpit into the lung, and that was a whole nother situation there. But it can be overlooked for simple science, and this caused this and this caused that. But if you stop and you look at the big picture, yes, it was an accident, but yes, somebody also intervened. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you have to be able to stop and look. And I've been a shitty Christian. I can tell you. I'll be flat out honest with you. I've been a shitty Christian. I thought that I was like, because I have Viking heritage, I started looking into paganism and all this other stuff. And I'm here to tell you what, it doesn't pan out like you think it does, because you wind up right back at Christianity. So, right. I mean, it's just the way it is. But you cannot overlook things as a science miracle when you owe somebody else a whole lot more than that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty miraculous when you stop and pull your head out of your ass and think about things.
Yeah, I know your job keeps you away from
it does
Sunday morning church and stuff like that, and pray about you some.
Well, that's good. Somebody needs to.
That you could not have a load to take Sunday morning and come to church.
Right. You know what's really crazy is Sundays are always guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like I didn't have a load.
Sunday's just another day anymore.
Yeah.
It's not a day of rest for a lot of people.
No, it's not a day of rest for nobody. No, I mean, when I was growing up, Dean, growing up in a dairy farmland, it was never a day of rest. Mm-hmm. You don't get those out there,
Well, and it's like, God made the earth in 7 days, and on the seventh day he rested and stuff like that. But Jesus never rested on the seventh day. There was still work to be done.
That's it. Yep. So. But don't think that I don't watch and or listen to a church segment.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I know you're in there. I just like to see you sit next to me Sunday morning.
Yeah, I wish I could.
It's just fun to go to church and be with people that have the same interests as you.
Correct. Yeah. Because there's
held you accountable.
Yeah, there's not as many as what you think that have actually the same interests.
Right.
I mean, how many people have you met in the younger generations that are close to the same interests as yourself?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's pretty crazy.
But we've got I've got a group of young boys that I meet with every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
So fun.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. We do nothing but talk about the Bible.
There you go.
And do some I will statements. What are you going to do this week?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And, we've got to start reflecting God in our lives more.
Absolutely.
I think to draw other people in. And
oh, yeah.
And we're going to meet the Creator someday.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of Creator, Dean, I want to go a little cryptic now.
Okay.
You ever been out in the middle of the woods and everything just goes completely silent?
Well, I love being in the woods because it's so silent.
No. I'm talking no birds chirping, no wind blowing, no nothing. You've been there?
I've been there.
How'd it make you feel?
I tell you what, Jesus died on the cross so we could talk to God.
Uh-huh.
There's no better time than that.
Well, yeah.
I'm going to tell you a little story. Make it a little emotional.
Oh, okay. We're good with that.
So I was up in the mountains hunting.
Yeah.
With my son-in-law.
Okay, yeah.
Don't have any sons.
It's all right. You're good. You're good. It's okay.
I have a son-in-law that I call my son.
Yeah.
Actually, I have two of them. But anyway, walking through the mountains, and it starts raining.
Mm-hmm.
So we look for shelter.
Yeah.
And I get under this tree to protect ourselves from the rain.
Right.
And he does too, but he keeps getting wet.
Okay.
And I'm staying dry. I look up at this tree that I'm under, and it's dead. And I look up and it's covered with moss and stuff,
Yeah.
And it's protecting me. And at that time I thought, you know what Jesus did? He died for us to protect us.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That tree was amongst a bunch of other living trees.
And you picked that one.
that sucked the life out of that tree.
Yeah. So it was like a Bible sermon right there in front of you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It had to die to protect me.
Yep. Yep.
Jesus died to protect us.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah, it's that, yeah. I don't know how much more of a Bible sermon you can get than that right there. Or oh God, what's it called? How Jesus teaches? It's parable.
Parables.
Yep. That's it right there in a nutshell. That was it, man. That's pretty awesome.
Every eye will see the glory of God.
Yep.
And especially when you go to the mountains, what a pretty picture it paints.
Oh, absolutely, yes. Yep. Yep, 100%.
That's why I love being in the mountains.
Oh yeah.
I don't care if I ever shoot an animal.
No, just
I just enjoy being in the midst of God's glory.
yeah. Mhm. I'll go with that. I agree 100% with that because you never know what is around the next corner, what's around the next bend, and what
Absolutely.
eye-opening thing it will be.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's pretty insane. It's amazing. Like I don't know how much more of a I don't know. It's kind of got me speechless. I don't know how much more of a sermon you could get or a parable. Like it's all right there. The teachings is right there.
I love the mountains. I love the pretty pictures that
Mm-hmm.
God's painted for us. The peacefulness that's there.
Yep.
The joy.
So did you think about did that come to your mind as soon as you seen it?
No.
How many? Oh, this is what I want. So how long did it take you to stop and realize this is what had happened?
I'm going to guess about 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought back on that and I'm like, wow.
See, this is
That was God protecting me from the storm.
yeah. This is what it's all about, man. It's like we overlook everything because we don't realize what's happening at the moment.
We take so
Because
many things for granted.
oh, absolutely, yes, yeah, yeah. So what we need to do as a society and humans is we need to stop, open our eyes and our hearts a little bit more than what we do,
Humble ourselves.
and we also need to take time to realize what's right in front of us. Because I will have to admit that no matter what you're doing up there in the middle of the mountains, if you're hunting elk and you're chasing elk, you don't have time. Like in your brain, you think you don't have time to stop and enjoy what is right there.
Yeah.
It's the way the world works, man. That the world has us on such a fast-paced society that you almost can't. That's why it took 2 weeks to
Right.
figure out what. I mean,
And it came back to me.
yep. Yep. I'm glad you shared that, Dean. Thank you for that. That was pretty good. That was real good. I appreciate that. Yep. Well, do you want to end it there? Or you want to keep going?
I'm good with whatever you want to do.
Okay.
If more stuff pops into your mind,
We can
I'm
we
still
can end
here.
it there and just sit on the conversation afterwards if you want.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, sir. I appreciate for you coming out here and doing
CJ
this.
Box has got something going good here.
Yes, he does, sir.
Better come out for the release.
Oh yeah, yeah. The 19th.
19th, and the bottles are going to be on the shelf.
Yep.
Available for sale.
Absolutely.
And I don't think they're going to last long.
No. There's a whole pallet of them. I think when we bottled them, there was 800 and Oh God, what was it, like 850 something that
I
we
think there's
bottled?
500 bottles went to the state. I don't know what stayed here,
Oh, okay.
but I can't think they're gonna. This is 100 proof whiskey,
Yep.
and it is smooth,
Yes, it's very good.
very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
I think, I think that this will make you very happy.
Oh yes, I will have to agree with that. If you're a whiskey connoisseur, then you're going to find this very appealing to your taste buds.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Dean. I
Thank
do
you very much.
appreciate it.
One more drink.
Yeah, one more. Have yourself a good day.